Hey, what's up folks at home? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about the one thing that I learned, that one tip that helped me catch a whole lot more bass. So, let's dive into it. We'll see you there. Okay guys, the one tip that I have for you today, fishing pressured lakes, that I've learned is that you have to fish nothing banks and flats, and it's all about fishing pressure. One thing that I've learned from fishing in northern Indiana is there's a ton of tournament pressure and recreational pressure on our lakes. And if you fish traditional areas and do traditional things, you're not going to catch as many bass. If there's one thing that forward-facing sonar has taught us, it's the fact that bass are sometimes in places where we least expect them. I've found out by fishing non-traditional areas and open flats and big water areas that guys typically run over, you're going to run into a group of fish that have not seen the amount of lures that the other fish have seen, that have not been pressured the amount of ways that other fish have been pressured. 9 out of 10 guys up here in northern Indiana are going to go fish boat docks in the summertime, and you can catch fish doing that. All I'm saying is that you're going to catch more fish if you look in different spots in different areas, right? Why is a jerkbait so good in the pre-spawn? Because it forces you to cover a lot of water that looks exactly like this. Low cover on the bottom, open water, bait fish oriented, but forward facing sonar has shown us that fishing those areas that you typically wouldn't think are going to hold fish actually hold a lot of fish. This nothing bottom content area right here is a perfect example. Hold a ton of fish, and you can catch a lot of fish by fishing those areas. A lot of guys want to run shallow, a lot of guys want to fish in different ways, but the truth is that most oftentimes bass are all over the. And with the realization that bass are all over the lake, the next key is timing. These areas often produce in the middle part of the day when you have wind and you have sun. When you want to fish these know-nothing areas, these areas that don't hold much besides a little bit of grass and some bait fish, are when other people are going to the docks, when other people are going to the points, when other people are going to these areas. If you can find areas that are nothing flats in the middle part of the day, say you want to upgrade your tournament limit, I'm fishing these areas with a Carolina rig, a jerkbait, a swim bait. Timing is huge. You're not going to do well in these areas in the morning. First thing, the fish are pushed up, they're eating. You're not going to do well in these areas when they're pinning up bait balls in the pockets. You're going to do well in these areas when fish are spread out all over the lake. Your midsummer, your post-spawn bite is going to get fired up just like your pre-spawn bite when you're fishing those guts and fishing these bigger open flats and areas. These baits are really going to allow you to excel and do a good job of catching fish. Now, you are going to wade through a lot of smaller fish, but the thing is, whether there's one, there's a bunch, right? A jerkbait is a fantastic way to get a school fired up. We're not talking about targeted ledge fishing. We're not talking about flipping at a tree stump. We're talking about finding schools of fish that are out here away from areas where they're going to be pressured, in areas where they don't normally see baits, in areas where people are normally like wakeboarding and surfing and tubing. This is a great time of year to capitalize on those areas because fish are there and they're relatively untouched. A lot of fish under docks see every worm and jig under the sun, but fish out on these flats, they don't see anything because people just drive right over them every time, or boats sit on top of them and fish towards the bank. What Caden is doing here is a perfect example of fishing that know-nothing area right there a lot of guys miss.
What I tell you, wouldn't be the same day. Would not be the same if we didn't catch crappie on this thing. Knew it felt like a dead fish. Nice little crappie. Maybe better. A little bit. Might keep. So I've got 2 keepers now, so that first one was a lot better than that one. That thing hit a lot better than them littler ones. I'm surprised I haven't caught a pike yet. And now I say that and I jinx myself, and I'll probably lose my jerk bait. Now we're kind of on this flat. It's kind of got this wavy grass in it. I really like that. It's because there may be some smallmouth around here. Let's hope there are. I'm literally looking at 2 bass right here, just nonchalantly swimming, and then I say that and look, I have found them. I think this may be another keeper. He is, whoa, long. Sorry, guy. That is 3 fish, 3 casts again. That is 2 fish, 2 keepers. That quick.
Now, when you start to catch fish in these areas, you need to focus on where they are and focus on how that school is moving. Forward-facing sonar has taught us that a lot of fish move around at a general area and move around that quite a bit. What you want to focus on is kind of where you're casting in relation to things that are in front of you, how you're addressing those fish, and really want to fish horizontal baits here. A lot of guys want to flip, or want to throw a jig, want to drag a worm. These are areas where you're going to want a active retrieve. They're areas where you're going to have a fluke or a swimming worm or a swim bait, something that is moving, that is triggering these fish to react. That's why the tickle wind has been so popular. You know, a little jig and a minnow profile bait, throwing it out there, winding it back in, can catch you a lot of fish, right? Sam and I were throwing swimming worms and flukes here on this flat, catching nice fish that you see here. It's just a great way to get bit. If you're looking for a bigger bite, sometimes you want to throw the big swim bait, and the big swim bait is going to come through cover really well. It's also going to have drawing power to pull those fish in, right? It's just a fancy way to get a bigger bite on some of these areas. A lot of bigger fish, if you ask big fish hunters, they're going to bite between like 12 and 230. I don't know why it is, but they generally do, and it's a big bite when it happens. You better hold on to that rod. Guys, if you enjoy what the channel's been doing lately, give us a like, give us a subscribe, support us on Omnia, go buy the baits that we have listed there. It really helps our channel get going in a positive direction. But hey, thanks for hanging out with us today. Fish those know-nothing banks in those know-nothing areas. Get your timing down right, and you're going to nail them. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We'll see you next time.